I am going to complete my donation. This is going to come up with a payment section. And very important to see down at the bottom, the funding instructions. In Atlanta, the city, the Cultural Affairs Office has decided their rate is 6.75. So in Atlanta, 6.75 is taken out because they basically are paying for the administrative fee in other ways. So that's there. I've pre-filled out all of my information. I'm going to use a gift card. And I happen to have the number here, hopefully. And I can also choose to, if I really don't want to hear from Power2Give, I can select that checkbox, and that'll flag my account saying don't bother me. That doesn't mean they don't want to hear from you. That's just an option to opt out of this. So I'm going to complete the donation. And I have to click the submit. And hopefully, the internet gods are with us. It says, thank you for your support of arts and culture. And it gives me an opportunity to share this project by email, Facebook, and Twitter. So if I were to click on the Facebook icon, that's going to open up my Facebook account and automatically pre-fill a timeline posting, and I can add to this, but if my friends see this, they can click on that link and it will go right to that project they can give. And that's the beauty of Power2Give. You can instantly share your projects. Yes?
Can you give us an example of some of the information that Power2Give will send out? If you do click on that email, what kind of, are you sending out
Sure.
stories, or what kind of things are you sending out to the donors?
Sure, if I click on the email, let's go back to that other page. It basically opens up a form where I put in the to, and it just pre-fills it with some generic information. I just saw this project on Power2Give, pass it on, but you can edit that yourself. You fill in who it goes to and hit send.
No, I mean, what is Power2Give? If you click on it, you want to get email updates from Power2Give.
Oh.
What kind of information does the company send out to the donors?
The question is, what does Power2Give send out to the donors? We right now are not actively sending any information out to individual donors. We work through the site organizations like CultureWorks. We might send them information that they would then pass along, but we're not actively involved with contacting Power2Give donors in communities other than Charlotte. It's a good question.
Then what happens if you do not check that box? Is that box ineffective, the one that says don't send information?
In my mind, the question is that it honestly, it's just an opt-out issue. We encourage people, when you get your donor records, it'll say yes or no. And that's the response. So if I click that box, on my record, when you see it, it would say contact, okay to contact, and it would say no. To me, that doesn't mean that your organization shouldn't contact you. It's just that person is saying, I don't want to hear from Power2Give. So it's a little squishy, I'll admit. What I always do is when I contact the donor, I say, do you mind if we put you on our mailing list? And they'll say, yeah, sure, fine, that's no problem. So it's just a point of contact. Question back here? All right. So that is the donor experience. Oh, and I should also show you, let's see if I fire up my email. Not that one. Give me I'll come back to that because it'll show you, it'll automatically generate a gift or an acknowledgement that I'd made that gift. Here we go. Well, I'll come back to that while we're waiting. It takes a moment or two. So that's the donor experience, and I hope that shows you how easy it is. And I want to be clear that your donors are not going to have to click through CultureWorks. They're going to go, you're going to send them a URL either to that project or to your project's listings. So they're not going to have to do a lot of searching. They'll go right to your projects. All right, so now I'm going to show you, this is I'm going to show you very quickly what the project dashboard looks like. And when you are registered, this is what you're going to basically see. The project dashboard looks very much like what we just saw, except it has some new components. And this is your management tool for your projects. I've logged in as a user on the Charlotte site, and the Arts and Science Council has posted several projects. First of all, this URL on your page is your dedicated URL. So you should take that, you should copy that and embed it in your email signature, in your website, in all your online communication. When people click on that URL, they're going to go right to your projects. So that's very important. On the left-hand side, you'll see a list of corporate matches. So this is where you'll see how much money is left when we have matching funds. So you don't have to call Chloe every 5 minutes and say, how much is left on that DP&L fund? How much is left? How much is left? It'll show you right here. In Charlotte, we have 4. There are 3 showing here. We have Blue Cross Blue Shield. There's $631 left. There's $10,000 left on a $50,000 fund, and we have one school that's brought some dedicated funds just for their projects. So all those funds will show up here, and you can see what's available. So I wanted to show you what a populated dashboard looks like. I'm going to now. Yes, question.
You could ask one of your donors who has done something in the past to match your own.
Absolutely. Yep. You just have to work out with CultureWorks about how that'll work here. Yes.
So you can have multiple organizations match for your project.
You can only have one match per project, and that's going to be a policy decision. Generally, what we advise, and this I'm speaking as the administrator for Charlotte. If Theater Charlotte has a matching fund, that's going to get applied first. So they use their own funds first. Then when that's gone, then they could apply to the ones that are available to the general.
Well, so if let's say we have this private project that we're trying to do, and I have 3 relatives that want to match dollar for dollar what we make. Only one of them can do that. Not all 3 of them can match.
You could create a matching pool. You could gather that fund and say, I've got 3 people want to give $500 each. The pool is $1,500.
Right.
Yeah, you could do that. Yes, ma'am.
For the matching gift, does a 12% administration apply?
Yes. The 12% applies to all funds. Okay, good questions. Yes?
So if I got someone who said, I want to match that, then they would have 12% of what they would give to us when going to that pool, 12% would come out of that.
That's correct.
Even if I secure the matching gift.
That's correct. Yep. That's correct. All right. So now I'm going to ask for a volunteer. Are you still enthusiastic? All right. So this is the Dayton Region website. It's not public now, but this is what it's going to look like. Chloe and the staff have gotten it ready for you. They've got the categories on the left. So those are your categories for Dayton. Scroll down just a little bit. So those are all your categories. And Martine, do you want to talk about the human service folks and what you've got in mind for? We want these to be arts-based projects.
There has to be some sort of cultural component to your project, but we're going to look at that very broadly, define culture very broadly, and our goal is not to keep you out. Our goal is to, find things that work well. So, but there does need to be some sort of, those are sort of some general categories, and yes, we consider, science falls into that, and multicultural. We try to make these broad as well so you find your niche within these categories.
And they can always add categories, down the road, so this is editable, yes.
Mine's going to be strictly dance. Would someone who is more interested in a more complicated one prefer to run through it?
No, dance is good. We love dance.
Somebody having a science or technology thing, they might want to learn how to include a cultural thing in it.
Well, we're not going to go too much into the content today. We're going to talk more about the just actual logistics of getting online. So are you good at, come on up. Because otherwise you're just going to be talking to me. Now when she comes on, and when you go to this site, the first thing you're going to do is scroll to the bottom and you'll see this magic box called Create and Manage Projects. And that's your gateway to the back end, what we call the management or the dashboard. So the first time you come on, you don't have a registration. So you're going to have to register. And there is a registration link here, right below the login. But when you come back the second time, you won't have to. This is what you have to do the first time. So if you would just go ahead and you can type and then do a tab between fields.
No space.
Has to be
no,
your
but- oh,
email.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
Email.
I didn't even look, I'm sorry. GemCityValley.org, right?
No, the email address is gcb@. Can you do it?
At?
Yes, they are.
GemCityValley.org.
.org. Wait,
No.
you come do it.
You got to make you all nervous.
And just tab down to the next. And he's going to tell us his password.
Password is parent.
Has to be seven
Oh,
characters.
okay.
And if you forget your password, you can have it resent to you. You might have noticed that on the login screen. So one of the things we encourage while he's doing this, if you have the capability of creating a generic email address that's not specific to an individual, we encourage you to do that because that prevents, you can't go in and change your email address. We have to get the developers to change that. So if you can do something like Power2Give at Gem City Ballet as an email address, and you can set it up on your Microsoft Outlook, we encourage you to do that. That way it stays permanent and we don't have to change it if you have staff turnover.
Whose name should be here?
Whoever the primary person is going to be managing Power2Give projects.
The organization address?
Yes. And then it's going to ask you if you have an active solicitation license with the state of Ohio.
4-5.
And
What, 9245?
4-5, yeah.
Right. Sorry.
And the solicitation license is part of the requirements for participating in Power2Give. And if you have any questions about that, the Culture Work staff can help you with that. But most every charity is registered. Now, in this case, you're going to, the first time you log in, well, you go ahead and click on that because we've had a lot of confusion about this. You don't want to select CultureWorks because you're not with CultureWorks. You're going to create your new company. So for the first time you do this, you have to additionally add your company, which is a little redundant, but
Well, in this case, should this be the corporate name?
Yeah, the corporate name?
whatever you want it to appear on the title of, I think you should do it as people recognize you in the community.
Oh, okay.
This will be what shows up on that title bar. And again, it may be the same person. And if you don't know your tax ID, just type in some numbers. Like everybody, do you know your tax ID number?
No. I know some of it.
One person actually knew their tax ID number, which was pretty impressive. You just do, 111 or.
That's not right. Okay.
That's fine, and just the same address.
There we go. Phone number.
This is the most arduous part of Power2Give. Once you get registered, it gets a lot simpler. And of course you want to receive news from Power2Give. I guess it,
No, you do. Uncheck it.
so once he clicks register, he's now going to be taken to his project dashboard page, which looks like what I had, except it's blank because we're just starting to populate this, right? So when you want to create a project, you see the blue bar at the upper right, in the upper part, and you see your, whoops, just scroll up to where it says welcome, and click on that. The underlined,
I'm not finding it. Sorry.
right up here.
Oh, here?
Right there, yeah, click there. And this is where you're going to, you can hold on that for a second. You can create a new project. You can go back to the dashboard. The donor reports is where you will pull your donor reports. So when you get going and you have a project active, you can pull down donor reports and run a report. It'll be downloaded to your computer as a CSV Excel spreadsheet that you can do whatever you want with and import however. You can also change your information, change password. But we're going to want to create a new project now. All right, so this is going to give us the project submission page. And the first thing I'll point out are these little blue eyes next to each box, and these are information help boxes for you. The first time you do this, they give you all sorts of information. But we're going to go ahead, serenade. Okay, we're going to come up with a title. Tell us about the project first.
This is for remounting Balanchine's Ballet Serenade, which is a wonderful ballet, but expensive to do. And I'm not going to do the math, so I'm just going to say.
You can come back and change this later. So this is just for fun. No decimal point, please.
Oh.
Just the amount. There you go. So the project start date, there are 4 dates here. The posting start date, the posting end date, when the project actually starts, and when the project actually ends. So in this case, we're going to scroll to March 9th. Actually, it's going to be earlier than that. What's our preview? What was our preview? Chloe, was it? No, that's the deadline. Let's do March 3rd. March 3rd. Clicks on March 3rd, you'll see what happens is it automatically adds 90 days. So if he wants it to be less, he can go in and change the end date. Otherwise, just leave it alone.
Why?
That's when the performance is.
This is for that one? Oh, okay.
So yes, if he has something going on in April, his window is going to have to be shorter because it's unethical to be raising money when you're actually spending it, right?
Yeah, I was thinking fall,
But that's all right. So put in a start date for the project. Well, he's going to repeat this, right? You're going to have a rerun, and then an end date.
No, it doesn't show.
Again, that could be a whole season, it could be a weekend, it could be whatever you want that. And again, the project date is actually only going to be seen by the CultureWorks staff. That's not part of the public presentation. So now he's going to select the characteristics or the different attributes. So it's going to be dance. What else?
Education, it's education for the dancers.
Okay. And again, we encourage you to select, 2 to 3 to 4, but not the whole list.
Nah, free dance assignments.
All right, so now he's going to scroll down, and I need to take over because I'm going to assign a photo from my. You're required to have a photo, so I'm going to just pick one out of my my pictures area. Let's see here. One that I know that'll work. And this is where, if you have a video, it needs to be on YouTube. But you just copy the URL from your YouTube video and paste it in here. We really encourage you to have videos, very important.
Can you have a video and a picture?
Oh yes, you have to have a picture. You have to have a picture, but you can also have a video. So and this is where he's going to come back and type in the project narrative. I'm not going to do that now. And you're going to do project budget or benefits. And note that there are these formatting options. So we encourage you to use. There's a option if you do if you show your budget, you can create a table, which makes it line up better on the page. So we encourage you to use the formatting features of these windows. The third option here is project notes, and this is your back channel communication with CultureWorks. So this is where you could type a message that will get to Chloe, and you could say, well, I have a question about, does this look right? Does the picture read? Or you can have back channel communications with CultureWorks. And when they have questions for you, this is where those will show up as well. Okay, so that's your kind of your walkie-talkie between the two. When you're ready to submit this, you're going to click on this. This is where the terms and conditions come in. So you have to scroll down here and click on the accept. I'm not going to do that now because he's not ready to submit this. When he can either save it, and when he saves it, it's going to take you back to the project dashboard, and you'll see that project, and then he can click on the edit link and go back and finish it.
Where's the edit link?
Right here. See? So I'm going to click that one.
I was looking at the top.
And then when he's ready, he's going to hit the submit button. And when that happens, CultureWorks is going to get an email saying this project has been created and they're ready for you to review it. And then they'll go through the submission process. If they have questions, they'll send a message back to you saying, please refine, or they may call you. In fact, I usually pick up the phone and call. But that's how the process works. And then once they're happy with it, they hit a button that says approve, and then it is on the site. And if you listed today's date, it'll go on the site immediately. Most of the times we encourage you to post it for a couple days away so you can get ready, get your campaigns going. But that's the submission process, that's the posting process.
And we can do that now.
You can, once, you will get an email after this with a link to how to get there. So I'm not going to give that to you today, but they will send you a message saying, click here to register and log in. Just make sure you create your company and don't select CultureWorks. Okay? My colleague went to Tampa and did a training session. She forgot to mention that. So all the projects came across as the Tampa Bay Hillsborough Arts Council. It's like, Questions? Yes?
Okay, you hit submit, CultureWorks says this is a go, they send it to you.
Yep.
And you say, it's gonna go live.
Yep.
Who's gonna get it?
Only the
Where's
pe-
it go- I mean, where's it going? Is it going to my emails? Is it going to my Facebook? Is it going in La La Land? Where's
That's
it going?
that's our next topic is how do you get your projects funded?
Vote for Terry.
Yeah, go for me. How do I do that?
All right, so just this is a recap, but just note the other thing I didn't mention, under the projects tab, there is completed projects. And this is where you can go to all the sites in the country and pick organizations like yourselves and see what they have done. So you don't have to just look at the active projects. There's a whole library of almost 2,000 projects you can choose from. So use that projects tab well. But again, that's just to recap all the features of the dashboard page. Okay, and I'm going to get to your question in just a minute. Bear with me. The question is, how do I get, where does this go? what happens? As you create these projects, storytelling, I think, is really critical. The title and the photo says it all. Now, I put this slide up from Indianapolis. It shows 3 projects. And I don't know if you can see that. For those of you in the front, which one of those is the most interesting? Yeah. What is this? It's a woman holding her ears. I want to know more about that more than answer the call. Okay, that one pops out to me. So think about how you use the title and the photo to your advantage. Okay, this is how people will generally see that at the first time. So telling your story, keeping it simple. Yes?
Does the photo have to be from your organization, or can you go on Google Images to get a silly picture like that?
You can go on Google. You can do whatever you want. I think the question is, can you use your own photo, or do you have to, or can you go out? I think what the CultureWorks staff will say is, I don't understand what this photo means. They may ask you a question about it, but no, there's no restriction. You can do whatever you want. We've had cats on.
You better get the rights if you're going to do that.
Yeah, make sure it's in the public domain. That's a good point. So keeping it simple, the narrative shouldn't be more than 200 to 300 words. I think anything more than a couple of lines, couple of paragraphs is too much. Writing for the web is not writing a grant report, folks. Do not copy failed grant applications into Power2Give. They will not get funded. Consider writing it in the first person. Tell it from the vantage point of someone receiving the service. I'm 14 years old. I heard the violin for the first time and it's changed my life. That kind of,
Will you write about Serenade? Well, I was just going to suggest, I was thinking about that, because you titled Serenade because it's so easy to type that in, but something else would be something like, help us share the beauty of balance, something like that.
Yeah, Serenade doesn't tell me anything. I mean, it's a great piece, but it needs to be more descriptive. I didn't catch you on that one, but that's okay. Again, as I said before, what do you think of when you make your own gift? What do you need? How are you going to utilize the gift? Tell in the narrative, be specific. Don't bury the lead. Be transparent. We encourage you to list 4 to 5 lines of a very simple budget so the donors can see exactly what they're spending money on, and don't be shy and include that Power2Give fee. We think humor really has a huge factor in Power2Give. We've seen a lot of people really have a great time with this. This should not be serious. I mean, this is really your opportunity to tell your story in a casual and compelling way. Okay, this is a project from Charlotte. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. But what can you tell me about this project looking at it? Anything? Why did I call it meh? Huh?
They haven't raised any money.
Well, this is never approved.
The title kind of seems bad.
Title is boring. The photo, it's a picture of a choral group doing this, like we did this morning, right? Which is great, but it's a little box. It would be much better if they took one or two of those singers and did a close-up. So think about where the picture's going to wind up. It's a great picture, but it's not right for this application. The narrative, blah, blah, is a dedicated group of volunteer singers who spend countless hours each season preparing, rehearsing, and presenting great cause. Well, you've already lost me. So that's a meh project.
I have a question.
Yes?
If your project is declined initially, do you have an opportunity to jazz it up and resubmit?
Sure. But they're going to ask you what's different about it.
Right.
I don't think.
So is there feedback provided as to why it's declined?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then you could go back and retitle this.
Yes.
Submit a different photo with the video component and edit the copy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. They will hold, and again, the first time we do this, we're all learning. CultureWorks is learning, you're learning. So, there's going to be a lot more back and forth the first time you do this, but once you get used to this process, it should be, and again, you're only going to be doing this once a quarter maybe. So, everyone's learning the first time. Right, Chloe? She's going to get all the big questions. All right, here's one that struck me, and again, it has a video. I'm not going to show you the video because it's a screenshot, but it has a video. The picture is, to me, engages more. Adopt the CSA Preschool Arts Lab this spring, much more specific, very specific project, and it talks about the project. More than 10 preschools visit Preschool Arts Lab each month for hour-long lesson. If you read this is more, for me, this is more compelling. It's shorter. Community School of the Arts in Charlotte they've had 35 projects on Power2Give, and almost all of them are fully funded. So 5 steps to the perfect pitch, and you had this slide. I'm going to read this to you, but this is what the crowdfunding folks say makes a good crowdfunding pitch. Setting the context. What is the issue? What is your solution? What is the impact you're going to have? And what do you want? If you can do those 5 steps in your narrative, you're on the way, okay? And the example I give is this one. Again, it's in your slides, so I'm not going to repeat it, but this Community School of the Arts wants financial aid for need-based families. They've had 300 families they can't handle the demand. The solution is we can make benefits, all of those great benefits of arts education available to all children. The impact is 120 weekly 30-minute music lessons for children whose parents couldn't afford it. It's $25 a week. And you notice that that they take the need and they take it right down to a $25 gift. So if I'm giving 25 bucks, I'm paying for a music lesson for one kid for a week. How great is that? It gets to that level of specificity in your project. That's going to make the donor feel good. Rather than giving $25 to a $5,000 need, break it down, make it real. And the ask can be, like if somebody's generous, they'll do one student for a whole semester, okay? That's the kind of narrative that you want to have. Donor testimonials, I won't read this because it's on your sheet, but it goes to the fact that this woman had only supported one of 8 organizations that she gave to on Power2Give. And we also have, on the site now, each project has the capability of having donor testimonials. So here in St. Louis, the Guitar Society, here's a donor who's commented that the work of the Greater St. Louis Guitar Society is doing in the schools is incredible. I have witnessed firsthand how excited the children get about music and the guitar. This program is run by committed and devoted leadership that is having an amazingly positive effect on the St. Louis community. So your donors can weigh in on how great your projects are. Now don't worry, if someone's being ugly, we will flag, you can flag the comments and we'll take care of that. So we have the ability to manage comments, but we haven't had any flags that I am aware of so far. People really love this. All right, so giving, enticing donors. Please don't give anything in the benefits that could be in any way a tax, have a cash value, so that reduces the value of the gift. So, and it's a little of a bit of a gray area because the IRS says that there's a threshold below which you can do this, but we just basically say, just avoid t-shirts, coffee mugs, tickets, no tickets, please, no gala tickets, no discounts. We've had some people say, well, can I invite them to a reception that I'm already doing? Yeah, that's okay. But just give them things like notes from the students, a signed poster by the cast, the donor's name being printed in the bulletin. I think if you can invite them, we've had somebody raise money for a light board, and their benefit was to be invited to a special evening where they could come and play with the light board. I mean, how cool is that, right? Doesn't cost anything. Just open your doors and have a good time. And if you, as I said, tie the benefits to your needs. For $50, you can cover the art supplies. So it's not really a benefit for them, it's a benefit for the students. Okay? You can run it that way. Yes, ma'am?
Can't do something like, we have a thing where people can sponsor a client that comes to each ours for a year. One of our benefits to that is they can come in and get a $50 gift that is an item that the person they sponsored has made. You're saying that kind of affects the deductibility of that gift?
Does that gift have a tax value, a cash value?
Well, yeah, because it's in our store, they get to go around and see, and the client usually takes them around and says, I painted that, I painted that, I did that, I did that, and then they can pick one of those for $50, and if the item is $100, they owe us $50. So we can't really do that, is what we need to take that out of our
that would, now if it was for a $1,000 gift, probably okay, but for a $100 gift, probably not.
And these are gonna come in as low.
Right. The average Power2Give gift is in the $50 to $100 range. But you can set up benefit levels, you can set however many different.
We just have to change it maybe for this.
You could say for $1,000 you'll get one of these things, and that's below the IRS threshold. But again, I would talk with the Culture Works folks and figure that out.
Yeah, because usually our sponsorship is $720 a year, and they get a $50 gift.
Okay. It's a judgment, it really is a judgment call, and we're not here to police that, but they will ask you questions. When they look at the benefits, they'll say, now does that have a cash value? And then they'll have a discussion with you. Answer, okay. But this is a little bit of a gray area, and it depends on the site, so it's up to you guys as to. We would much rather, I don't know about you, but I'd rather get a note from a student than getting a coffee mug. I mean, you know, come on, right? We've had have enough coffee mugs.